Hello, fabulous superstar Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of November 2025. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. Synchronicity University is proud to present some absolutely incredible programs starting this month over at synchronicityuniversity.com with me looking at past lives in the astrology chart part 3. Mark Lawrenson, super popular superstar astrologer, teaching on the astrology of intimacy, and these incredible speakers only at synchronicityuniversity.com. Links below. Some of the most important moments, not just of the month, but really of the year, are set to take place for you early in this month. On the one hand, it is going to be on the 5th of the month that we are going to have a full moon in your sign. Now, this full moon is speaking in harmony with both Jupiter and Saturn, suggesting that there is stability and growth, and there's self-honesty here that helps root you with an awareness of what it is that you've already established, what it is that really matters to you, what your actions are showing you really matter to you, and also what it is more that you're looking forward to. Ultimately, this is actually very fortunate full moon energy, and the fact that it's happening in your sign suggests that you're moving in a direction that helps you to feel that much more connected to a deeper understanding of who you are and how you've earned a sense of how far it is that you've come. Sextiles of Saturn in particular are about self-respect, making choices that fuel healthy self-respect. And because this is a full moon in your sign, there will be a lot of emotion, but there's also a lot of restraint. There's also a lot of gratitude as well. There might be a choice to be made, and yet you're making the right choice. Or at least you appreciate how you've been making the right choices for you. And now with this very emotional realization, it serves as a turning point where some Taurians might find themselves defining themselves differently for a long time to come. And so, for example, if you are somebody who didn't appreciate that actually you do have a lot of self-respect, well, you'll be able to see it that much more clearly now. And where it was that perhaps you weren't being honest with yourself about what you want to give your time to, where it is you feel more hopeful and where you don't feel prepared and where you do, well, that might be part of the self-honesty that feels like it comes to the surface for you at this time. Uranus will be in your sign right to the last days of April of next year, at which time Uranus will leave your sign, not to return for about 8 decades to come. And so there are some Taurians who might find this to be sort of a once-in-a-lifetime moment. Others, maybe not as much. I mean, I know I'll meet you there. I've always felt like I was going to live to 150. And if you're at an age where that means you'll be around in about 80 years, well, then I'll meet you there. But having said that, Uranus has slowly been moving through your sign since 2018. And this is about you freeing yourself from illusions, expectations, and conditioning as to whom it is that you've been told you need to be, who you thought you needed to be, in favor of something that feels like who you've been created to be. What it is to be true to you has felt like it has taken you by surprise in moments of shock, in moments of cleansing as well. And so this is that last little bit where you might need to shake loose some sense of expectation, especially where it is that it feels stagnating to you in some way. The great thing about Uranus moving through your sign is that it encourages you to be honest about the things that are keeping you from you. And it tends to represent at least a moment since 2018 for every Taurian out there, whether it's your sun, your moon, or your rising, that you have likely had a period of time where it felt like those revelations, those insights were especially strong, and where it felt like a lot changed. Something shook for you and in your life. And as you got honest with you, you were encouraged to then go out and be yourself in a way that maybe you hadn't allowed yourself to before, but now you realize just how freeing it is, and it opens up greater excitement and possibility to you as well. On the 9th of the month, Mercury will officially go retrograde in a part of the sky for you that has to do with transformation and wealth. But it will be on the 19th that retrograde Mercury will move back into your opposite sign, where Mercury first went into shadow in October. And it will be here in your opposite sign that Mercury will go direct on the 29th. And so let me say, especially with Mercury retrograde in your opposite sign, that is a really big deal of an energy. It does suggest that whether it's business partnerships, professional alliances, or love, though I'll talk about love just in a little bit, but outside of love, professional alliances, breakups that happen, endings that happen, they tend to not stay broken up. And this can also be where people that you might have been aligned with before for shared prosperity, in some way, you might feel like they re-enter your life, especially where it is that you might have not been in contact with them for a while. At the very least, you might be doubting how effective a particular one-on-one alliance actually is, how much it is that it actually serves moving towards shared prosperity or not. And from there, you get to decide what it's going to mean, if it feels like there's a strong pathway forward or not. All will not necessarily be clear just yet. It is a Mercury retrograde after all. But once Mercury does go direct towards the end of the month, it's like in an instant, you really see where you stand with another. How it is that partnership not only came about, but whether or not you feel it actually has a future. And in that place of clarity, you get to decide what it is that you want to do next in regards to a key person in your life. November 11, Jupiter goes retrograde. You can see like we've got these big planets on the move. And whenever it is that a planet stands still and changes directions, whether it's going retro, whether it's going direct, it is closer to the Earth than it might otherwise be. It is an optical illusion, of course, but it can feel as if that planetary energy is magnified for us. And Jupiter is all about going overboard, going over the top, going way too far. Now, for you, this is Jupiter going retrograde in a part of the sky that has to do with communication, conversation as well. So be very mindful of what you're promising other people, where it is that you don't realize it, but you might be saying certain words, promising certain things, bragging where you don't realize you are. Maybe you sincerely believe that you'll be able to match whatever it is that feels like you might be either promising it or you're stating in terms of your own abilities and what you know, but the reality might not actually match that. So just be mindful and allow yourself some grace if you do end up overpromising, but also allow that to others as well. Knowing that it is very possible that you might hear what it is that you want. That becomes possible with Jupiter retrograde, and especially Jupiter stationary retrograde in this part of the sky. Now, this also has to do with siblings, cousins, and neighbors. And when we have such important energy in this area of life having to do with these key people, well, it can feel like they take on greater importance. Whether it is that you have a lot of hope, you have heightened expectation, you have a heightened sense of the possible, what they could do for you, or maybe just hope for what's happening in their lives, whether or not it has anything to do with you directly. Jupiter standing still at the height of its power actually gives you every reason for hope that good things can come about for you, especially in regards to these connections that you have with these key people now. On the 20th of the month, we are going to have a new moon in your opposite sign. And this is about partnerships, right? This is exactly where we have a retrograde Mercury, not too far away from this new moon as well. And Venus isn't too far away either, having moved into your opposite sign in the first days of this month. And so you can see there's so much focus on another person, especially under the light of this new moon. And as much as I want to say this is a wonderful time for new connections and new chapters with others, this is much more a sense of it being clear if it is that there's someone that perhaps you wanted to partner with, wanted to align with, and it felt like it could have been something and then it sort of went away and now they come back around. That's where the energy becomes especially fortunate, with this overall fortunate, though very shocking in some moments, energy of this new moon. But for all that, I do think that a lot of Taurians are going to experience this energy in the context of love. And where it comes to matters of love, this is set to be a really important month for the Taurians out there. You're getting very honest about where you are with another person, whether it's the love that you want or where you are in love and how you feel about it, or whether it's someone specific. And in being honest with yourself, you get to realize what it is that you want and whether or not you feel there's really a pathway forward. Now, if it is that you're open to meeting someone new, when we have such important energy in your opposite sign, particularly lunar energy, and particularly with the new moon energy, someone does present themselves. Someone is there to help you to understand where you are in love and how you feel about it. But Mercury is retrograde at that point in your opposite sign. And whatever you think might be taking place with another, whether it's someone new, whether it's someone you're hoping to further a connection with, you just might see that person very differently in an instant towards the very end of the month. So allow yourself the space to do that, knowing that, especially when it comes to new people, you're learning about what you want differently. And that means that you have a right to change your mind and change your opinion if that relates to someone new that you are connecting with, or someone maybe for a while you'd had your eye on, thought something could come about. Yeah, this is where you just might see that possibility differently in some way. For those of you just starting to date someone, now keep in mind, whether you're dating somebody or whether you're in an established bond, part of this Mercury retrograde season happening with Mercury in your opposite sign means that breakups that happen tend to not stay broken up. The likelihood of miscommunication or misunderstanding is that much higher. So strive to be patient with others and with yourself, knowing that you might be misunderstanding, or with the best of intentions, they might be misunderstanding as well. But for all that, once Mercury does go direct in an instant as we get to the end of the month, you're going to see this person very differently. This happens just after we have that new moon as well, just about a week earlier. And so I feel like in an instant, as you see them differently, it just might be a very all or nothing moment, helping you to understand whether or not this is moving towards partnership or not. And for those of you in an established bond, the overwhelming majority is going to find that your partner does come into greater focus now. There might be some new chapters taking place for them, especially in the second half of the month. And you're there for it, you're in support, but it might not necessarily have anything to do with the partnership itself. But there are going to be those Taurians who find that this is a time when you're focused on the partnership between you and this person that you are in relationship with. A very small number might even find that, yeah, in some ways, there might just be an all or nothing moment, helping you to understand whether or not it is that you can have a new chapter with them or not, because a new chapter is being called for. And either that's going to be together, or you realizing your new chapter is taking you a whole other way. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. I am going to say the fact that Uranus retrogrades back into your sign is a really big deal of an energy. Uranus retrograding into your sign for this last hurrah until we get into the spring of next year, at which time Uranus will leave your sign, not to return for about 8 decades to come. Well, it makes this that much more a special moment. It makes this a moment where you are seeing yourself differently, and where it is that perhaps you haven't wanted to acknowledge some truth of you, it is going to feel like a revolution of sorts for some Taurians out there. And yet it's almost like it's a revolution that's been a long time coming. There's changes that have been in the works since 2018. Now, in some ways, it's really the finishing touches, helping you to understand what it is to be you and finding the clarity, the determination to embody it and to live it that much more going forward from here. Thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership rate over at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. where you get expansive, exclusive video scopes each week for each sign for as low as just $3 a month. Now, higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, links below. A limited number of consultations are available with me between now and the end of the year, online on my website, NadiyaShah.com, and in person this month in Montreal, Canada. You can learn more and sign up for yours now, link below. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.